In what ways was your school diverse?
High school was diverse in the sense that we had people of different races, but it wasn't really people of different, backgrounds in the sense that like.
My high school was diverse, not in a not by race, but by personality.
My particular school, I was one of two black people in the entire grade, and then it was the same situation for every grade. So, I feel like it was more so just to have a ratio to say that they have black students.
So you as a black male, how did you feel growing up in a predominantly white school or a predominantly white area?
People try and downplay it and put it to that we've passed, the civil rights period. We've passed, the era of racism. But like, when you live in those areas, like you really see it like on a day-to-day basis. Because I've had relationships where I couldn't, stay with a girl because her parents didn't like me, even though we lived down the same street, just because of the color of my skin, it didn't work.
How do you feel about standardized tests?
One test to test every child because every child is different, every child learns different. You can't just give them one test and expect them to know that because you never know. Some people are just really bad test takers. They might have mastered a skill, but they might suck at the test. So I feel like it's not a good way to judge the child's achievement.
I just think that more than standardized testing being the issue, man, it's just that quality in general is the issue that we need to be pressing for our school boards to be, spreading our state, state school boards and our county school boards to be pushing the money to where people actually need it rather than to where they want to see, the nicest schools being built and the most books, being.
In my specific situation, it actually helped me because my GPA wasn't all that great. But because I got a 1750 on SAT, it actually put me in a position where I could be able to attend GSU or the ability to attend other schools. But I support it, and it has a different effect for everybody.
A whole bunch of pressure on it, and knowing that if y'all didn't do good, something bad to happen. So yeah, students flipping out, having anxiety attacks, just feeling bad.
Honestly, I've never really believed in the actual concept of a standardized test per se, just because of the fact that there's people out there who test horribly, or might not have the best advantages, but yet still are very successful in life and go on to college and make good grades and stuff like that. And I feel like in high school, the student, the educational system makes you stress so much about CRCTs, SATs that it can really brainwash somebody, and I've seen it happen personally. So
I think everybody has privilege, but when you start talking about school privilege, that right there is the school is a sport that dictates a lot of people's self-worth. And when you start looking at, well, you couldn't pass a test, this score is not good over here, you can't get in this school, you can't get in that school because you didn't have this and you had that. That equal in certain cases in this society, it gives people the excuse to treat you a certain kind of way and give you a certain access to specific education around this country. So if you have a low SAT score, this school will take you, but that school won't. Why is that? If they're talking about the same thing, are they talking about the same thing at those schools? Why are they talking about different things at different schools? Why can't I go over here, but you're recruiting me to go over here? Why are you recruiting me to go in the Army and you're not recruiting him? Why is the Army always at my school and I go to the private school and you never see him? It's feeding the system. It's a system feeder. That's all it is. The school is a constant funnel to society. That's exactly what it is. And the testing is a aid to the funnel. That's all it does. It sifts people out.
When I say standardized tests, that means that students in low-income areas with not as much resources take the same test that a student with high income, and better resources, they have to take the same test. Do you think that that's fair? Do you think that we should do away with that?
And if you put it in that perspective, then no, it isn't, because it's not fair because schools with lower resources, they have a lot less to work with, and then they have to, basically overcompensate with, raw knowledge. And
I remember just Andrew Young when he came down, he was just talking about even in the playing field. How are you going to have an even grading system without an even education system? If it's not even, it's hypocritical. And so you have a hypocritical system grading everybody the same when everybody does not have the same resources. It's basically a game of making sure that some people who have privilege and have power make sure they stay in privilege and stay in power. Now, all of that stuff is attainable, don't get me wrong. Some people have to climb a higher wall to get to somewhere where somebody can just slide over, you know?
You being a curriculum student, how do you feel about culturally relevant teaching and it taking place now today in schools?
I think it's really important because, even if, like, you and me are talking, I know you, so I'm more comfortable with talking to you. I feel like that's the same thing with teaching. You still have to be comfortable with you in order to let you in. Because some students might come in and it just might seem like they really shut off and everything. It's just because they don't know you. But if you're showing them things that you can relate to them and you can help them learn in a different way, they're going to open up more to you. Like if I have a Hispanic student, I'm going to try to, relate to them and some of the things that I know that they do at home. I'm not just going to do the same thing for everybody.
What do you believe white privilege mean?
Overarching theme of white privilege is just that a disregard for the feelings, or more so just a lack of empathy for other races and other people's struggles, just because the struggle, unfortunately this will sound biased, but the struggle of the average white man versus the average black man is strongly different. They're two different, struggles. And I'm not saying that they couldn't be proportionate to one another, but I'm saying that out the gate, the black man's struggle is harder. And then what you pile on afterward is, what happens.
White privilege doesn't really mean anything to me at all. My argument is that when everybody's born, when everybody is brought into the world, everybody from that day has the same chance to be whoever they want to be from that day.
Have any of your friends or people that you met here at Georgia Southern or just in life period have ever called you white before, or you're that white guy?
The act of being called white is one of the most disrespectful things that like someone could possibly say to you, because it's like it's like saying that because my parents have money, or because I speak proper, or because I strive to achieve more, that I can't be my actual race, that I can't be black. I have to be the quote unquote better race and be white to be doing what or sounding like I sound and doing what I do, or making other white people feel as comfortable as they feel around me. Then I have to be white to create that for them. I've heard it so much, and I get just as enraged every time, because like yes, I came from an area that was full of mostly white people. Yes, my parents might have had a little bit more than other people had to work with, but at the end of the day, I'm a black male and I'm proud of it, and that's what I am. Because even though my parents could have millions in their pockets, people are still gonna look at me when you see me off the bat. I'm a black male, and that to most people, that's all I'll ever be if you never get to know me.